President Biden urging Israel to take a proportional response to Iran's missile attack earlier this week. Well, that's a nice way of saying it. The president said he would not support targeting Iranian nuclear sites. Our next guest says Iran has a stronger motivation to build nuclear weapons now, and there's a real threat. David Albright is the president and founder of the Institute for Science and International Security. So many different facets and nuances to this, David. In fact, there is an editorial in the Wall Street Journal that once again, it seems like the Biden administration is more intent on deterring Israel than it is on deterring Iran, and that before even talking to Netanyahu, says don't go after the nuclear sites. And you make some interesting points that because Israel might do it, Iran might rush it. That may force them to rush it, which the feedback loop comes back to Israel, which might force them to act in a matter of days or weeks, because everybody is being rushed into doing things after what happened earlier.
It's a very dangerous situation, and Iran is more vulnerable to being struck by Israelis, and at the same time, Iran is very close to building nuclear weapons and probably feels pretty strongly that its existing deterrent against Israel striking has collapsed. I mean, there were two missile attacks and not a single hit of any significance. The ring of fire created by its proxies is severely damaged. And so Iran, I believe, does have a stronger motivation to build nuclear weapons, and Israel has can see that Iran is vulnerable now to a strike. And so, how this all works out, I don't know. As the days go by, Iran has more time to prepare against an Israeli strike and try to protect its critical nuclear weapons capability assets, like 60% enriched uranium. They could move it. They could move centrifuges that are currently being stored. So it's a situation that may not result in Israel attacking Iran's nuclear capabilities now, but that may change. This vulnerability of Iran is going to persist, and Iran's motivation to build nuclear weapons is going to increase. Now, I think President Biden's statement is incredibly unhelpful. I mean, behind all this, there is a strategy and a policy to make Iran so scared about building nuclear weapons because of military strikes. It doesn't do that. And here he's undermined that. So I think his comments are out of place and unhelpful.
A lot of facets to this. I mean, when I step back and look at the entire big picture, just cutting to the chase, David, why does Iran need a nuclear weapon? And that's the point. I think they want a nuclear weapon because the mullahs are on record saying they'd like to destroy the state of Israel. I mean, there are a lot of nuclear capable countries, and they all, I guess, thought there were different reasons to have that ambition. But is this a defensive ambition for Iran? And if it is purely an offensive move to be able to destroy Israel, all they have to do is just stop developing a nuclear weapon. Why couldn't they just say, we're not going to develop one? We're putting aside that, and we're not going to do it, and we're going to coexist with Israel. Will that not happen?
Yeah, I think even if you listen to internal Iranian discussions, I mean, many Iranians, sort of in the elevated intellectual classes, understand that there's real downsides for Iran to get nuclear weapons, and there's been this idea, inch closer but don't do it. But what's happened, unfortunately, that's changed things is that I think the Iranian regime is running scared, and that they thought this ring of fire, that manifested by Hezbollah principally and Hamas and the Houthis, would constrain Israel from attacking it and limit Israel's ability to do things in the region. And that's collapsed. Right. And their missiles don't work very well to attack Iran. So I think they're running scared right now, and there's a risk that they will rush to a bomb out of that fear.
All they got to do is stop developing the bomb. Yeah,
No, that's true.
That's all they got to do, and they won't be attacked, and everything. Let me just read one thing. So Lisa, Lisa Daftari, I assume, David. So she says, as the Biden administration has made major concessions in tone and policy, Tehran understood that there would be minimal to no consequences to its actions. To that end, the mullahs continued spinning the centrifuges and working on possessing the vital components. So this latest, these latest comments from Biden are just a continuation of that, because he's already gone down that. We've already gone down that rabbit hole as far as how we're. So at this point,
remember, Biden administration came in saying they're going to get a longer, stronger nuclear deal, and then pretty quickly retreated to just trying to get something. And it's been downhill since then. And I think, yes, they have had a policy that has been principally based on let's avoid a crisis. And you can't do that in the Middle East. You encourage our adversaries. Iran is certainly an adversary, if not an enemy, and at least the regime. And so, yes, they have encouraged them, and Iran feels that it can make these incremental progresses, shortening the time to being able to produce weapon-grade uranium for a bomb, working on nuclear weapons. There's no real punishment for when evidence emerges that they may be advancing their nuclear weapons program. So, yes, this policy of the Biden administration has really not worked, and now we're suffering the consequences of it. It could be war.
But in conclusion, both the hands are being forced. Both hands are being. Iran's hand is being forced, and Israel's hand is being forced. So we're almost hurtling towards something happening. In what time frame do you think, David? In a matter of weeks?
Well, I don't want to put a time frame on it, because I think what the United States should be doing is delivering a message to Iran that their nuclear program will be reduced to a burnt-out cinder if they move in any way to building nuclear weapons. Not
but
telling
we won't
Israel.
Know. We don't know. It's deep underground.
Mode. We should focus on preventing.
Isn't it deep underground? And we don't have the ability. They're close enough now to where we wouldn't know if they took that step, or do we have people in there that would tell us? What's that?
Don't underestimate Israel, and they may surprise us. I mean, they said over 2 years ago they needed 2 years to prepare to attack Iran's nuclear program, and so they've been thinking about this. And think of who would have thought they would put bombs, little explosive devices, in pagers. Right. That really seriously damaged Hezbollah. So don't underestimate what Israel can do.